Sophia, wait a second. I have watched you from my window for the last 2 weeks, and I have seen you return from your morning run exactly at 6:15 a.m. every single day, rain or shine. How on earth have you managed to maintain such a robotic level of consistency while the rest of the world is still hitting the snooze button?
It's not magic, Alex, and I'm certainly not a robot. To be honest, I have had many mornings, including this one, where I have stared at the ceiling for 10 minutes, fighting the urge to stay in my warm bed. But I have realized long ago that if I let my feelings make my decisions, I will never accomplish anything meaningful in my life.
I wish I had that mindset. I have tried to start a morning routine at least a dozen times this year alone, but I have failed every single time after day 3. I have bought the expensive running shoes, I have paid for a premium gym membership, and I have even downloaded 5 different habit tracking apps.
And
nothing has changed. I have felt so motivated on Sunday night when I am planning my week, but when Monday morning actually arrives, that motivation has completely vanished. It's like a different person wakes up in my body, someone who doesn't care about goals and only wants to sleep.
that is the first mistake you have made, Alex. You have relied on motivation, but motivation is a fickle friend that leaves you when things get difficult. I have stopped looking for motivation years ago because I have learned that it is a result of action, not the cause of it.
What do you mean by that? I have always thought that you need to feel inspired before you can actually start working on something big.
Not at all. I have found that the spark only comes after I have already started the task. For example, I have often felt exhausted before my workout, but once I have finished the first 10 minutes, my energy has suddenly returned. You have to force the start, and the feeling will follow your lead.
I suppose I have been waiting for a miracle that hasn't happened yet. I have spent so much time watching motivational videos on YouTube, hoping they would give me a permanent boost. I have watched hours of speeches about grind and hustle, but as soon as the video ends, I have gone right back to scrolling through social media.
Exactly. You have replaced real action with the feeling of being productive just by watching someone else be disciplined. I have seen so many people fall into that trap where they have confused learning about discipline with actually practicing it. Discipline is a muscle, Alex, and yours has become weak because you haven't used it for a long time.
Ouch. That is a hard truth to hear, but I know you are right. I have noticed that my focus has become very short lately. I can't even read a book for 10 minutes without checking my phone for notifications. I have felt like my brain is constantly jumping from one thing to another, and I haven't finished a single personal project in months.
That is the dopamine trap you have created for yourself. You have trained your brain to expect a reward every few seconds, so when a task requires long-term effort, your mind has rebelled against it. I have struggled with the same issue back when I started my first business. I have had to literally lock my phone in a different room just to write a simple email.
Even you have struggled with that. It's hard to believe because you have always seemed so composed and in control of your time.
Oh, absolutely. I have made every mistake in the book. I have procrastinated on big projects, I have lied to myself about why I wasn't working, and I have wasted thousands of hours on useless distractions. But the difference is that I have reached a point where I have said enough is enough. I have made a conscious decision to take back control of my life.
How did you actually start? Did you just wake up one day and decide to change everything at once?
No, that is another way people fail. They have tried to change 10 habits at the same time and they have crashed under the pressure. I have started with just one tiny thing, making my bed every morning. It sounds small, but it was the first victory of the day. Once I have mastered that, I have added another small habit, and then another.
I have heard about the make your bed advice before, but I have always dismissed it as being too simple to matter. I have looked for something more complex, some secret strategy that successful people have hidden from the rest of us.
There is no secret, Alex. I have talked to millionaires and top athletes, and they all have the same answer: they have done the boring work even when they haven't wanted to. They have embraced the boredom. While you have searched for excitement, they have found peace in the routine.
Embracing the boredom, that is a very powerful thought. I have always run away from boredom. I have checked my phone the moment I have felt a second of silence. I haven't allowed myself to just sit and think in a very long time.
And that is why you have felt so anxious. You have filled every gap in your day with noise, so you haven't heard your own thoughts. I have started practicing monk mode for 2 hours every morning, where I have stayed completely offline. No music, no podcasts, no messages, just me and my work.
2 hours of silence. I think I would lose my mind. I have become so used to having background noise that the silence has started to feel heavy.
It feels heavy because you have avoided yourself, Alex. But once you have crossed that bridge, you will find a level of clarity that you haven't experienced in years. I have produced my best work during those silent hours because my brain has finally had the space to create.
I have really neglected my mental health in that sense. I have treated my mind like a trash can, throwing in every piece of random information I have found online. No wonder I have felt so tired and unmotivated lately.
We have all been there. The digital world has made it very easy to be a passive consumer and very hard to be an active creator. But you have to ask yourself, what have you actually achieved this year? What have you built that you are proud of? The perfect circumstances are a ghost, Alex. They haven't existed in the past, and they won't exist in the future. You have to build your discipline in the middle of the mess. You have to be disciplined when you are sick, when you are sad, and when the world is falling apart.
You are making me realize that I have been a victim of my own excuses. I have blamed my job, I have blamed my busy schedule, and I have even blamed the weather for my lack of progress. But the truth is that I have simply been weak.
Don't call yourself weak, call yourself untrained. You haven't practiced the skill of self-discipline yet, but you can start today. It's not about being perfect, it's about being better than you were yesterday.
I want to start. I really do. But I am afraid that I will wake up tomorrow and I will have forgotten everything we have talked about. My old habits have deep roots, and they have pulled me back into the dark every time I have tried to reach for the light.
That is why we are going to build a system. We aren't going to rely on your memory or your willpower. I have developed a plan that has helped dozens of people in your situation. We have analyzed your failures, and now we are going to engineer your success.
A system? Like a schedule?
More than just a schedule. We are going to look at your environment, your triggers, and your rewards. I have noticed that you have kept your gaming console right next to your desk. Do you think that has helped your focus?
Probably not. I have often told myself I will play for 10 minutes, and then I have realized it's 2 a.m. I have lost so many nights to that machine.
We have to change the environment before we can change the mind. If you make it hard to do the bad habits and easy to do the good ones, you have already won half the battle. I have made it a rule in my house that my laptop stays in the office and my bedroom is only for rest.
I have never thought about it that way. I have tried to fight my environment with willpower, and I have lost every time. It's like trying to swim against a strong current instead of just getting out of the water.
Exactly. You have made it too hard for yourself. But listen, the sun has started to get higher in the sky, and I have to get to my first meeting. We have covered a lot of ground today, but we haven't even touched the most important part yet.
There is more. I already feel like my brain has exploded.
Oh, we have just scratched the surface. We haven't talked about identity-based habits or how to recover when you have inevitably made a mistake. If you want to continue, meet me here tomorrow at the same time.
I will be here. I promise. I haven't felt this determined in a long time.
We will see, Alex. Don't tell me your intentions, show me your results. I have heard many promises, but I have only respected actions.
Fair enough. I have a lot of work to do.
Go and start now. Not tomorrow. Not in an hour. Now.
Sophia. You won't believe it, but I have actually made it. I have woken up at 6 a.m., I have avoided my phone for a full hour, and I have even finished that introductory chapter in my Italian textbook. I have felt a strange mix of pride and physical pain because my brain has fought me every single step of the way.
Welcome to the real world, Alex. That pain you have felt is just your old self dying to make room for the new one. I have seen that look on people's faces many times. you have finally tasted what it feels like to win the first battle of the day. But tell me, how has your mind tried to trick you this morning?
Oh, it has been a non-stop negotiation in my head. I have heard a voice telling me that one more hour of sleep has more value than a language lesson. I have almost convinced myself that I have deserved a break because I have worked so hard yesterday. I have nearly reached for my phone 3 times just to check the weather, which I know was just an excuse to look at Instagram.
That is exactly what I have expected. Your brain has developed these neural pathways over years of repetition, and they haven't disappeared overnight. I have often compared discipline to building a house in a storm. The wind has tried to blow down the walls before the cement has dried. You have stayed strong today, but what have you planned for the moment you feel exhausted this afternoon?
I haven't really thought about the afternoon yet, to be honest. I have focused so much energy on the morning that I have neglected the rest of the day. I have already felt my willpower fading as the clock has moved toward lunch. I have started to worry that I have used up all my discipline fuel for the day.
That is another myth that has ruined many people's progress. You have believed that willpower is a limited battery that runs out, but I have found that it's more like a generator. The more you use it for the right things, the more energy it has produced for the next task. I have finished my hardest work by noon, and instead of feeling drained, I have felt motivated to do even more.
I hope I can reach that level eventually. I have realized that my biggest problem in the past was that I have focused on the goal instead of the identity. I have said, I want to be fit, but I haven't believed that I am an athlete. I have treated my habits like a temporary punishment instead of a permanent lifestyle.
That is a massive realization, Alex. I have read a lot about identity-based habits, and it is the only way to make change stick. If you have told yourself I am a writer, you haven't struggled to write every day because that is simply what a writer does. I have identified as a disciplined person for so long that being lazy has actually started to feel uncomfortable and unnatural to me.
It sounds so simple when you say it, but I have struggled to change my self-image. I have seen myself as a lazy procrastinator for so long that I have felt like an imposter when I have done something productive. I have waited for someone to point at me and say that I am just pretending to be hardworking.
We have all felt like imposters at the beginning. I have started my fitness journey feeling like the weakest person in the room, and I have felt like a fraud when I first started giving advice to others. But action has a way of silencing those voices. Once you have done the work for 100 days in a row, the evidence has become undeniable. You haven't had to believe you are disciplined because you have already proven it with your tracks in the snow.
100 days, that seems like such a long road from where I am standing right now. I have always looked for the finish line, but you have taught me to look at the steps. I have often quit because I haven't seen results after a week, and I have felt that my effort has been wasted.
Nothing has been wasted, Alex. Every time you have resisted a temptation, you have cast a vote for the person you want to become. Even when you have failed, and you will fail eventually, it hasn't meant the end of the journey. I have had days where I have eaten junk food and skipped my meditation, but I haven't let one bad day turn into a bad week.
That is where I have usually crashed and burned. I have had one cheat meal, and then I have told myself that the whole month is ruined, so I might as well give up. I have used one small mistake as a reason to destroy all my previous progress. It's like getting a flat tire and then stabbing the other 3 tires out of anger.
That is a perfect analogy. I have taught my students the never miss twice rule. You have allowed yourself to be human and make a mistake, but you have never allowed that mistake to happen 2 days in a row. I have missed a workout occasionally because of travel or illness, but I have always made sure that the next day's session has been non-negotiable.
Never miss twice. I have written that down in my new notebook already. It feels like a safety net that has allowed me to be imperfect without being a failure. I have spent so much time being a perfectionist that I haven't actually accomplished anything because I have been afraid of making a mess.
Perfectionism is just procrastination in a fancy suit, Alex. It has kept you frozen because you have waited for a level of quality that you haven't been ready to produce yet. I have launched my first project when it was only 60% ready because I have known that I could only improve it through feedback and experience. I have embraced the mess because I have known that done is better than perfect.
I have definitely been guilty of that. I have spent months researching my blog topics without ever writing a single paragraph. I have told myself that I have been preparing, but in reality, I have just been hiding from the fear of being judged by others. I have stayed in the research phase because it has felt safe and comfortable.
Fear of judgment has killed more dreams than failure ever has. I have learned that people haven't actually thought about us as much as we have imagined. They have been too busy worrying about their own lives and their own insecurities. I have posted videos that I have thought were terrible, and I have found that they have actually helped people the most because they were honest and raw.
You have given me a lot to process today, Sophia. I have felt a shift in my perspective that I haven't felt in years. I have stopped looking at discipline as a prison and I have started seeing it as a key to my freedom. If I can control myself, I can control my future.
That is the ultimate truth. Discipline has given you the freedom to choose your life instead of just accepting what has happened to you. I have seen people with a lot of money who have had zero discipline, and they have been the most miserable people I have ever met. They have been slaves to their impulses and their immediate desires.
I don't want to be a slave to my impulses anymore. I have lived that way for 30 years, and it hasn't brought me the happiness I have searched for. I have found only temporary pleasure followed by long-term regret.
Then you have already won the most important battle, the battle for your awareness. You have seen the matrix, and you haven't been able to go back to sleep now. I want you to go home and write a list of 3 non-negotiables for your life. These are things that you have committed to doing every day, no matter what has happened in the world.
Only 3. I have felt like I could do 10 right now.
Start with 3. I have seen too many people start with 10 and drop all of them by Friday. If you have kept these 3 promises for a month, then we have earned the right to add more. What has been your first choice?
My first will be waking up at 6 a.m. My second will be 30 minutes of deep work on my blog. And my third. I think I have decided to walk for 20 minutes every evening to clear my head. I have realized that I have spent too much time indoors lately.
Those are excellent choices. They have covered your energy, your creativity, and your mental health. I have a lot of confidence in you, Alex, but remember, the world hasn't cared about your plans. It has only cared about your execution. I have looked forward to hearing about your progress next week.
I won't let you down, Sophia. I have finally understood that I haven't been fighting the world, I have been fighting the old version of myself. And today, I have won.
Keep that fire burning. I have seen many sparks, but I have searched for a steady flame. Go now, and do what you have said you would do.
I'm going. I have a blog post to write, and I have never felt more ready.
It has been a pleasure to discuss the power of discipline with you today, Alex. And to our viewers, remember that you haven't failed until you have stopped trying.
That is a great thought to end on. We have reached the end of this episode, but your journey has just begun.
Take care of yourselves and stay consistent. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.